They wanted you to bow down, didn't they? Knees to the ground, head lowered, begging for their approval, their scraps, their so-called mercy. That's their game. That's how they keep control. Ever wonder why? It's because your strength, your potential, terrifies them. You remind them of what they'll never have: real power, freedom, and control. They don't want to destroy you. No, they want to own you. They'll sugarcoat it with lies like, "We're just looking out for you," or "This is for your own good." But beneath it all is fear. Fear of what you could become if you stopped playing their game, if you stopped apologizing for being yourself. Picture a bird in a cage. It's beautiful, isn't it? But its wings are clipped. It chirps not because it's free, but for its captor's amusement. Now imagine that bird breaking free, soaring high, untouchable. That's you. That's what you're meant to be. But they don't want that. They'd rather keep you caged, singing their tune, living by their rules. They wanted you to kneel and beg, to whisper, "Please, give me another chance." But you didn't. You stood tall, looked them in the eye and said, "No. Not today. Not ever." That's real strength. But strength comes with a cost, doesn't it? You felt it. The loneliness, the whispers behind your back, the betrayals. Friends, family, even lovers. They've all turned their backs on you at some point, haven't they? But here you are, still standing, still fighting. That's what they hate most, your resilience. They'll call you names: monster, failure, outcast. They'll try to make you believe it. But here's the truth. Monsters don't kneel. Monsters don't beg. Monsters survive. And you're the kind of monster they fear the most. Not because you hurt others, but because you refuse to let them hurt you. Life isn't about being liked. It's about being respected. Respect doesn't come easily. It's earned through struggle, pain, and perseverance. It's earned when you say no in a world that demands you say yes. It's earned by standing tall when everything around you is designed to make you fall. Think about those who tried to break you, the ones who whispered, "You're not good enough." Where are they now? Sitting in their comfort zones, hoping you'll fail so they can feel better about their lives. They're cowards. They'll never understand what it takes to be you. They don't hate you because of your flaws. They hate you because of your potential. Deep down, they know you're better, stronger, smarter, hungrier, and that terrifies them. They wanted you to beg because it would have validated their mediocrity. It would have made them feel superior. But when you refused, when you stood your ground, you shattered their illusion. And they can't forgive that. People are strange like that. They'll call you selfish for choosing yourself, cold for protecting your heart, arrogant for knowing your worth. But all that means is you're winning. If you weren't, they wouldn't care. This has never been about you. It's always been about control. They wanted to decide your worth, dictate your future. But you took that power back. You ripped it out of their hands and said, "This is mine now." And oh, how they hated that. Most people are sheep. They follow the herd, do what they're told, never question anything. But you? You're not a sheep. You're a wolf. And wolves don't beg. They hunt, adapt, and survive. When a wolf stands alone, the sheep get scared. They start whispering, plotting, trying to bring the wolf down. Why? Because the wolf doesn't need them. The wolf doesn't care about their rules, their approval, their opinions. The wolf lives by its own code. They tried to tame you, didn't they? Tried to make you polite, obedient, quiet. But you fought back. You said, "I won't wear your chains. I won't live in your cage." And that's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you dangerous. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your forgiveness. The moment they tried to break you, they gave up any claim to your loyalty. So stop looking back. Stop trying to make them understand. They never will, and that's okay. You're not here to please them. You're here to rise above them. They'll say you're too much, too ambitious, too cold, too hard to love. And you know what you say to that? Good. Because you weren't born to fit into their mold. You weren't born to make them comfortable. You were born to break barriers, to rewrite the rules, to carve your own path. They wanted you to beg, but begging is for the weak. And you're not weak. You're free. And freedom, my friend, is the one thing they can never take from you, unless you let them. Do you remember the pain? The nights you spent alone, questioning everything, wondering if they were right. That pain wasn't there to punish you. It was there to teach you. It was a lesson. It showed you how to stand on your own, how to fight, how to survive. And now, that pain has become your greatest weapon. They thought the pain would break you. They thought it would leave you weak and helpless. But instead, it made you stronger. They thought the darkness would swallow you, but you became the darkness. They wanted to silence you, but now your voice is louder and stronger than ever. And that more than anything scares them. The fact that you're still here, still standing, still refusing to bow, that's victory. That's real power. Let them talk. Let them plot. Let them try to tear you down. It doesn't matter, because you're not just surviving. You're thriving. That's the ultimate revenge. They wanted you to beg for their approval, but instead, you showed them what true strength looks like. You proved that no matter what they take from you, no matter how hard they try to break you, you will always rise. And now, they live in fear. Fear of the moment you decide to strike back. Because you're not just a survivor. You're a force of nature. You're here, breathing, living, fighting. That alone is a slap in the face to every single person who doubted you, every person who wanted to see you fail. You've figured it out, haven't you? The truth they've spent their entire lives trying to keep from you. You don't need them. You never did. And that's what terrifies them. Most people can't handle the idea of someone standing on their own without relying on others. It forces them to confront their own weaknesses, their own excuses. They live in a transactional world where love and support come with strings attached. I'll support you if you do this. I'll care about you as long as you follow my rules. But you broke free from that. You ripped up their unspoken contract and said, I don't need your love if it comes with conditions. I don't need your support if it's just a leash. And now, they don't know how to deal with you. They thought they could control you with guilt, fear, and pretty words. But you saw through it. You saw the strings they were trying to pull. And instead of being their puppet, you became the knife that cut those strings. That's why they hate you. Not because of your strength, though you have plenty of that. Not because of your intelligence, though it's sharper than any blade. No, they hate you because of your resilience. Every time they knock you down, you get back up. And every time you rise, you're stronger than before. They wanted you to beg, because begging would have proved them right. It would have validated their small, shallow lives. But instead, you forced them to face their own inadequacies. And that's something they'll never forgive. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt real peace? Not the kind they sell in ads or promise with hollow words. I'm talking about the peace that comes from knowing you've conquered your demons. The kind that comes from rising out of the ashes of everything meant to destroy you. You don't remember, do you? Because they never let you have it. Every time you got close, they pulled you back down. Through whispered insults, backhanded compliments, and constant reminders that you weren't enough. But now, you see the truth. They are leeches, feeding on your light because they have none of their own. They thrive on your insecurities, your fears, your doubts. But what happens when you stop feeding them? What happens when you look them in the eye and say, enough? I'll tell you what happens. They crumble. They fall apart. Because without you, they have nothing. You were their source of power, their scapegoat, their punching bag. But now you're untouchable. And that terrifies them. They'll try to come back. You know they will. With apologies, excuses, promises to change. Don't fall for it. People don't change unless they have no other choice. Even then, it's rare. So let them knock on your door. Let them beg for forgiveness. And when they do, smile. Not out of kindness, but because you've already won. They wanted you to beg, but now they're the ones on their knees. Funny how that works, isn't it? The tables always turn. The predator becomes the prey. And you? You're the one holding the strings now. Here's the truth. You owe them nothing. Not your time, not your energy, not even your anger. The best revenge isn't destruction. It's indifference. It's living a life so far beyond their reach that they can't even touch you. But if they ever try to control you again, remind them who you are. Remind them of what you've become, and watch them crumble under their own fear. They never expected you to rise. Oh, they might have pretended to support you, whispered fake encouragement, but deep down, they were waiting for you to fail. That's their game. Build you up just enough to watch you fall. But you didn't fall, did you? No, you endured. You bore the weight of their judgments and their poison. And instead of letting it destroy you, you used it. You turned it into armor, into a weapon. And now, they don't know what to do with you. People don't hate you for your failures. They hate you for your potential, for the things you represent. You are a reminder of everything they gave up on, everything they'll never be. And that burns them. It eats away at them. They'll hide it, of course, behind fake smiles and shallow compliments. But if you watch closely, you'll see it. The envy, the resentment. Every step you take forward is a reminder of their own stagnation. Every dream you chase is proof that they've settled. They'll tell you your dreams are too big, your goals too ambitious. What they really mean is, don't prove me wrong. Because if you succeed, if you rise, it forces them to confront their own lies, the ones they tell themselves to stay comfortable. So keep going, keep rising. They wanted you to beg, but you chose to thrive. They wanted you weak, but you've become unstoppable. And now they'll spend the rest of their lives watching as you soar, untouchable and free. Bottom of form. Bottom of form. They wanted you to beg, didn't they? Begging would have made them feel powerful. It would have reassured them they still had control over you. But you didn't give them that satisfaction. Even when your legs were shaking, even when your heart was breaking, you stood tall. That takes a kind of strength they'll never understand. They don't hate you because you're weak. They hate you because you're strong. You've survived things that would have crushed them. You've walked through hell and come out the other side. Not broken, but stronger. And now you're unstoppable. But don't get too comfortable. They're not done with you yet. Oh no, they'll come for you again. Not with fists or obvious attacks, but with words, doubts, and manipulation. They'll try to plant seeds of insecurity in your mind. They'll water them with their toxic opinions, hoping they'll grow into chains that hold you back. But here's the thing. They can't touch you anymore. Not unless you let them. Once you've tasted freedom, once you've realized their opinions don't define you, their power over you disappears. Just like that. They'll try to tell you who you are, who you should be. But you already know, don't you? You've found your truth. And that truth is unshakable. It's the foundation you've built from the rubble of their lies. You're not a victim. You're not a failure. You're a survivor, a fighter, a force of nature. No matter how hard they try to pull you down, you'll keep rising because that's what you do. That's who you are. They wanted you to beg, but instead you made them watch as you climbed higher and higher. You left them behind, drowning in their bitterness while you soared. And now, they'll spend the rest of their lives wondering how they ever underestimated you. Let them wonder. Let them regret. But don't you dare look back. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you hesitate. The moment you look back, the moment you falter, they'll pounce. They'll try to drag you back into their world of doubts, fears, and mediocrity. But you're better than that. You're above that. They wanted you to beg, but instead, you showed them what true power looks like. And now, they'll never forget the day they tried to break you and failed. You know why they really wanted you to beg? It wasn't just about power, it was about fear. They were scared. Scared that one day you'd wake up and realize the truth, that they were never stronger than you. They were just louder, more persistent, better at wearing masks. They convinced you to doubt yourself because it was the only way they could keep you down. Think about it. Every time you stumbled, every time you failed, they were right there, weren't they? Not to help you up, but to remind you of your place. To tell you that you'd never be enough, that you'd never make it. They planted those doubts in your mind, hoping they'd choke out anything good you tried to grow. But you ripped those weeds out with your bare hands. You refused to let their words define you. They underestimated you. They thought you'd crumble under the weight of their insults and doubts. But instead, you used every one of their words as fuel. Every insult, every sneer, every whispered "you can't" became the fire that kept you going. And now you're the one they're running from. They wanted you to beg because they couldn't handle the idea of you standing on your own. People like them thrive on control. They need to feel like they're the center of your universe. But the moment you stopped caring about their opinions, their approval, their validation, you took that power away. And oh, how that must have burned. Here's the truth about people. They'll always try to make you feel small. Why? Because small people are easier to control. But here's the secret. They can't make you feel anything unless you let them. You've always had the power, my friend. They just didn't want you to know it. Real power isn't money. It isn't fame. It isn't even physical strength. Real power is knowing who you are. It's looking in the mirror and saying, "This is me, flaws and all. Take it or leave it." It's refusing to let anyone else define you. They wanted you to beg because they wanted you to need them. But you don't. Not anymore. You've built yourself from the ground up, brick by brick, scar by scar. You've turned every wound, every moment of pain into something unbreakable. And now, they can't stand the sight of you. Because every time they see you, they're reminded of their own failures. They're reminded that they gave up on themselves while you kept fighting. Look at them, clinging to their safe little lives, their comfortable little lies. They'll spend their entire existence chasing things that don't matter, trying to fill the emptiness inside them with stuff that will never satisfy. But you've seen the truth. You know the only thing that matters is the fight, the struggle, the climb. They wanted you to beg because they thought it would break you, but instead it broke them. Every time you stood back up, every step you took forward shattered the illusion they built around themselves. And now they're scrambling, trying to make sense of a world where you refuse to bow. Oh, they'll keep coming. They'll keep trying to tear you down, to make you doubt yourself, to pull you back into their world. But you've got something they'll never have. You've got fire. You've got purpose. And as long as you hold on to that, they can't touch you. They wanted you to beg, but instead, you rose. You became something they can't control, can't understand, and can't destroy. Now they'll spend the rest of their lives watching you from the shadows, hating you for everything they'll never be. And here's the real punchline. They'll never understand that you don't need revenge. You don't need to destroy them. Your victory is in your existence. Every breath you take, every step you walk forward, every moment you choose yourself over their expectations, that's the real win. That's what breaks them more than anything else. So walk away, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to leave their chaos behind. Let them cling to their bitterness, their jealousy, their need for control. Let them watch you from a distance, their whispers fading into nothing as your presence becomes something they can't ignore but will never reach. You're not part of their world anymore. You've outgrown it. They wanted you to beg, but you stood tall. They wanted you to break, but you became unbreakable. And now they'll remember you as the force they could never conquer. That's your legacy. That's your power. If this resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more powerful messages like this, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the community. Let's rise together.